Says going live. I'm live. Okay, thank God. I'm on. I was sitting there like waiting for the damn thing, the wheels spinning, but anyway, I'm on. Um yeah, what do I talk about first? If I talk about, you know, the additions, Poyer's extension kind of shocked me. Um that did kind of shock me actually. The late seat, a couple of defensive linemen, Jefferson, which everybody seems to like. Edgy guy, I like that. I like the fact they're adding some guys that a little dog in them, little mean son of a bitches. Diggs plays angry. I like that. We have some guys that are good players, but needs to be a little bit more edge, little Andre Reed edge, a little bit of Thurman Thomas edge. What's up, Los? How you doing, bro? Um, and I was just chatting with somebody, just text me back right now, and says the same thing. He's an alpha dog. Championship teams have those. 90s Bills had a lot of them. Kelly, Reed, Bruce, a lot of intense guys, competitors. And yeah, he's Vernon Butler, a guy that it's funny. Rex's regime had looked at, but just versatile depth. Remember when we were all having these debates, not debates, but discussions, because we don't really debate and fight in this room, about defensive tackles, the depth, the lack thereof, Harrison Phillips and stuff. They didn't go big. They basically did a two for, and for less money. You let one guy walk, you get two guys. Addison basically would have led the Bills in sacks for the last 4 years. Okay, I'm not saying that, I'm not throwing the former players under the bus, but truth be told, he leads the Bills in sacks the last 4 years. That's just a fact. So they added a lot of versatility, a lot of depth. They added a special team. I didn't realize the guy had the most because I don't really track special teams. I know like Cody Core, Brandon Tate, those guys are really good gunners. And this guy was one of the highest, rated tacklers in the league. I think it's oh God, Makavich. Is that how you say his name? Don't hold me to it. Yeah, Poyer extended shocked me. Eric Poyer was like, that just helps the locker room too, I guess. You see, a guy that plays well gets paid. They don't release him. Yeah, not even gotten to talking about Diggs yet, but that's not how the day started. Brady officially pieces out. And to me, in my opinion, maybe some of you feel the same way. I feel like that's the Bills adding a player. I mean, let's be honest. The record is what it is against him. 3-30 something, just unbelievable. Just times where we seemed like we had the game won. The son of a bitch would just find a way to, twist and the Bills would shoot themselves in the foot at the most inopportune times. We all know just a laundry list of games, but be that as it may, he's gone. He's gone, and all the things that we've been hoping for are finally starting to come to fruition. The only thing that sucks, I'm not a drinker. I'm not a partier. I know a lot of people like to, go out and do their thing. It's St. Patrick's Day. Brady left. And Bills Nation, Bills fans would have been going ham everywhere, but they're not allowed to, which is really, really unfortunate. A day that we should be able to get to celebrate. Fuck, I'd let somebody put me through a table if I knew I could, get away with it. But it was just so like, wow, it's truly, because we pretty much all saw the writing on the wall, and for him to put out a statement and just pretty much say, yeah, it's over and done with, it was just really, really nice. That would be crazy. It would be return to the scene of the crime, and maybe if they win, that would be the ultimate, coming of age. Go back to Tampa versus Tampa against him in their stadium and win. Wow. I mean, really, it was a different stadium then, obviously. They built a new stadium, but it would be such a delicious thing to do, to finally remove that black stain and give us something that we've wanted for so long, all of our lives. and at times it could never seem possible. But now it looks like something that never would seem possible is the division. And I don't know if you guys want to talk about the moves. They weren't marquee moves, but they were solid additions. They were pretty solid ads. They weren't like sexy. They were 2-year deals, decently priced, nothing crazy. You saw Jordan Phillips sign in Arizona today. We know Lawson's going to Miami. Bills pretty much brought in, was it 7 new players, re-signing Spain, extending Poyer. And there's going to be plenty of Corey Lowe. There's going to be plenty of ads, additions for those. People have asked me, "What's up, Travs?" Again, I'm not one of those people that pounds the table for running backs. I don't need to see was it Juwan Howard or whatever his name is, Jordan Howard. I don't need to see Melvin Gordon. I don't need to see none of those guys. Go find me Matt Breida 2.0. Go find me Damian Williams 2.0 or 3.0. Go find me the undrafted guy. Go find me the 7th round pick nobody wanted, ends up being Terrell Davis. Go find me those guys. Don't want Devontae Freeman. He's broken down. He hasn't been good since 2016, and to the point his own team cut him with 3 years left on the deal. I just want no part of that guy. Luis Pena. Yeah, the Bills do need to take over that division and get back to the playoffs and just have a run, start winning games. Eric Marino with Shaq and Phillips leaving with their deals. I'm not worried about it. Basically, they gave up a 4th and a 1st. That's what they gave up. Those 2 other picks, they got back a 7th. Those 2 other picks, acquired again, like I said yesterday, Teller deal, Bodine deal, 2 guys that we're going to cut. And you said it, Eric, like a couple of chats ago. They're not going to spend. They're not going to need 9 draft picks. 9 players weren't going to make this team from a draft class, that were 6th. 3 6th round picks might end up being Ray McLeod and Austin Prohl for all we know. So there was no need to have that glut of guys. Malcolm Jenkins, no, he was never on the team. That was Philly, Lewis. You have the wrong team, man. Buffalo Bobby watching this podcast live from what's up, man? It's nice to have somebody from far out. Damager comes in from San Jose, and a lot of people come from everywhere. Some Buffalo people, outside of Buffalo people. Oh, you're an Eagles fan? I know a lot of Eagles. It's funny. I know like 5 people personally, Eagles fans. It's not an Eagles chat, but you're welcome here. But nah. We don't need him. Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer. He's not a guy that, he's older. I always look at it this way. If a team like the Eagles, who's been pretty successful, doesn't want him, he wants to get paid. Why should we want him? No disrespect to the player, but I think his better days are way behind him. But the Diggs ad is always going to rue the day when it comes to Bills free agency. The trade is going to always jump off the page. The Brady deletion from the AFC East. The moves that it seems like the Dolphins are just signing a whole roster full of defensive players. Not a lot of offensive linemen, which shocks me. Only 1, and that was Eric Flowers. I said yesterday, $10 million for Eric Flowers. I don't get that at all. He was there in Buffalo against with the Redskins, with the Bill versus the Bills. I wasn't like here's this dominant guard. Watched Giants, he was a mess. What's up, Damager? How you doing, man? So I don't see that. They just signed a ton of guys. Emmanuel Ogbah, Shaq Lawson, Kyle Van Noy, Byron Jones. They just a linebacker, middle linebacker, the Gunter Hill, former Eagle. Patriots, went to the Eagles. Now he's with the Dolphins. So they just signed a shit ton of guys. Byron Jones, a nice corner. He's not the best corner in football, not even close. So I don't see him, they overpaid to get him. So I always come to find when you really can just do more damage to your team long term, just throwing out money like that. They were in such a talent deficit they had to, I guess. Bobby Buffalo, people are telling talking about the Bills out here in California. Bills are poised to win the AFC East this coming season. Love the recent moves, especially Diggs. Oh, of course, that's the one. And to talk about him really quick, what's up, bro? AFC is fine. It is Vols, Bills Magic. The AFC East is finally play again. Up, Eric Moreno, 2 years, 13 million for Jefferson. Dan Graziano, that's a nice little deal. Luis Pena, I'm glad we passed on Byron Jones. The guy's had 2 interceptions his whole career. Yeah, he's a PBU corner. He's a very good tackler. He's athletic as shit. They transitioned him to safety. You're an Eagles fan, so remember he was playing safety. They moved him to corner because they moved on from in Dallas. They moved on from Brandon Carr and Morris Claiborne, and he's never been great. I mean, he's been solid, but he was never like, oh my God, wow. Like, oh, wow, he's just amazing. Like, he's solid corner. But at that price tag, I just never saw it. But what I was going to say about Diggs, you know how it is. We all did it once the deal came down. Looking at, you just go and you look at the player. Anytime the Bills add a player, whether it's a draft, whether it's, free agency, we always go look at the highlights. We always go look at, what he could do. And yeah, Joe, got to get it done on the field. We always go look at that stuff. And he's Norman too, Travsdale. You always go look at how they are as a player, because when they're not in your uniform, they're not playing for you. You see Stefon Diggs, Vikings are on TV a bit, but you watch highlights, you see him. But then when you go watch him and you realize this guy's going to be in your team's uniform, playing for you, you're going to be rooting for this guy, and you really start to watch. Like, I was on NFL Rewind just watching tons of Viking games today, because like most of us, we have nothing to fucking do, except fill our time with stuff like this. And man, he's really fucking good. I can't help but smile. He's really fucking good. You don't realize how good he is, because he kind of gets overshadowed by the bigger names like, Julio and DeAndre Hopkins and just Odell Beckham Jr.'s. He gets overshadowed by these bigger names. He's really good. Like, he's a really good wide receiver. He needs to be getting targeted like 140 times a year easily by this team. You want to maximize that investment. That should be at minimum what you should be targeting this guy. He is really, really good. I was listening to WGR this morning, and I don't often agree with Jeremy White, but he made a good analogy. He said that he's the upgraded version of Stevie Johnson, and that is so true. He's a much better. I mean, all due respect to Stevie, not to kick dirt on him, but this guy catches the ball, man. This guy catches the ball. And he's got much better speed than Stevie did. He's got markedly better speed, and he separates like Stevie though, and his moves, his precise, like just when he puts his foot in the ground and he decides to make his move, he creates a ton of separation. It is insane. Vols Magic, how crazy to say we have a top tier roster in the AFC. No doubt this team will compete for a title in some fashion next year. Yeah, that's true. John Brown too, slotted perfectly as that number 2 wide receiver. Gorgita, is that Gorgita Black, Fat Black? I hope I'm saying that right. Gorgetta, I think at least. Joe Smith, can this defense stop Mahomes? We'll see, man. We'll see. They still got a long way to go. Damager, one of the best route runners. He's a fucking mate. Like, I was really watching him today, and it was just like, I didn't realize he was this fucking good. I was like, he's really fucking good. It's like, shit. Like, he just kind of gets lost in the shuffle. Yeah, I have to start working from home tomorrow. Chris Harris is still, I'm not interested in him and Eric. I'm really not. He's another older corner. I want some youth. I want some fresh legs. Maybe one of those 5th round picks, the 6th round, something like that. Yeah, get a guy. McDermott finds corners, man. He finds DBs. Look at Saran Neal, Taron Johnson, Levi Wallace. Granted, they're not the best, but they contribute. Everybody thought Jordan Poyer was just going to be everybody kind of hemmed and hawed about his ad. The guy's been a really good, fucking great signing for the Bills. Luis Pena, what would you want to see from Josh Allen in 2020? What do you think he needs to improve on? Well, he's a second-year player. He had a second-year player last year, had a long way to go. They threw a ton of new players around him, a ton of new players, a completely overhauled offensive line, a completely new backfield, and a whole new receiving core from top to bottom. Literally, every starter, sans Dion Dawkins, was different on offense for the Bills last year. He gets a lot of national stick for some inaccuracy issues and this and that. But I see the things I saw from, there was a lot of people eating crow this year on Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, and everybody wanted to, they just lined up to give Lamar Jackson a sponge bath, and rightfully so. The kid had a great career, but it just got kind of nauseating that everybody was lining up to kiss his ass at the end of the year, and he went and shit the bed in the playoff game. That's 2 years in a row, okay? But be that as it may, nobody wanted to give credit for the things Allen improved on. He got better weapons. He got more accurate. Did he still have his bad games? Yes. Did he still miss some throws? Yes. Did he still take some sacks? Yes. The kid is a second-year player, all right, coming from a small school, didn't play near the football the other guys did, at the level the guys did, and still he put that team on his back. Like, in 18, they had nobody on offense. That kid just put the team on his back and willed them to 5 wins, literally. So it's just crazy to me. And they played 4 games without Singletary, and he was arguably their best weapon, sans Allen and John Brown. Vols Magic, do you think you make another splash move or some sort, or keep the cash? If we're in-house guys, yeah, that's what I think. Vols, Troutdales, because people wanted to see us use Singletary more last year. Yeah, I would, but they wanted to spot him. They didn't want to throw too much on his plate. Luis Pena, I like Allen. He has a lot of upside. I feel like he's the best quarterback. Well, what's what we're hoping, man. Now he's got a receiver that, you upgrade the receiving core again. That was the thing, the receiving core. You had a veteran tight end you brought in. Tyler Croft gets hurt. You have to throw a rookie and Dawson Knox in there. You're trying to get up to code with a bunch of new receivers. Granted, they're good veteran receivers, Cole Beasley, John Brown. Then, your third receiver is Isaiah McKenzie. Guys, they end up trading a guy that couldn't take another step and kind of flamed out in Zay Jones. Robert Foster got lost in the shuffle. So they needed to upgrade the receiving core for him to get the most out of him, to continue to, make sure he can develop and gain trust in his guys. So, and that's why I said yesterday, guy has a career 68.4 catch rate, the best deep ball tracker in the game. The numbers prove it. 8 catches of 40+ yards, 57% of catches, I think it was like 30+ yards downfield. Insane. Does Klein fill? Yeah, I would say so. Eric, does Klein fill the role on defense? I think so. Strong side linebacker, special teams guy, leader. Los, I saw your comment, and trust me, if they do that, I'll be happy as shit. Let's draft. Los says let's draft Claypool in the 2nd round. That would be perfect, man. If they get that kid at 54, and then you have him, a young receiver that doesn't have the weight of the world on his shoulders, can come in and just be a mismatch piece and learn from those guys and not have the weight on the world of shoulders to contribute right away, because you got the 1, 2, 3 punch. Then you'd have him, you have Knox. It would just be phenomenal. It would be phenomenal. What's up, Matt? So long, Brady, bro. I would love that. I'd be doing, I'd be like a little child in here. Yeah, if Knox improves, that'll be excellent. He's got to just get more consistent on catching the football, though. The balls, it's just fun to think about Stefon Diggs on our roster, and you see what it's become. L's become W's. Yeah, because it's 2 or 3 plays a game makes a game. And granted, this team was a 10-win team last year, but there's that 2 to 3 games there could make this team, home field advantage type of team. People keep saying we need a big receiver. I think Knox could be our big guy one-on-one, but yeah, you want to add more dried onion. You want to add more. You want to have more depth. You want to have younger guys. John Brown is 30. Cole Beasley is 31. So you do want to get a younger guy in there to eventually long-term pair with Diggs. Hope, another guy you draft develops. Luis Pena just wanted to wish Bills Mafia a good night. Always enjoy a live stream. Wish you guys luck next season. You too, Lewis. Have a good one, man. Thank you for stopping in. Appreciate it, bro. But Browns, both Pats. Yeah, both Pats games, the Browns game, the Ravens game at the end could have been tied. We all know what happens in the games. We can all play them back on our heads on a loop, but this team, I think it improved so far this offseason. They improved a little bit on special teams. They improved in their defensive line depth. They've improved at the skill position massively. They were able to add a Pro Bowl caliber receiver. One of the, would you say he's a top 8 receiver, right outside the top 5 around that area? I would say so. He's right there. And I also put it out, Bills added one of his teammates today. Quentin Jefferson played with Diggs at Maryland. I mean, that's cool. It's crazy. They're both edgy alpha dog kind of guys. It'd be interesting to see, how that dynamic works in the locker room. You add a little bit of bite, a little bit of punch. Round equal running back. I don't know if you mean what round I'd like to see a running back. Tennessee Vols. I keep calling you Tennessee Vols. If Allen's deep ball accuracy improves, our offense is lethal. Browns just one more touchdown, one more field goal a game, get that average scoring up into the high 20s, slightly above the mid 20s, and this team is well on its way to 12 wins. They provided Allen weapons. Now it's on him to see if he gets better. Yeah, and it's quarterbacks again. Everybody wants the now because sometimes you see now from certain guys. Like you saw it in the second half of, Baker Mayfield's rookie year. But then you saw regression in his second year. Bad regression. The turnovers continued. They got worse. Bad decision making, and seemed out of shape. Then you saw them on the flip side. Lamar Jackson went nuts in his second year. Just went ape shit crazy. Had a phenomenal season. But again, it's just about, I'd rather have, everybody wants instant gratification shit. I want to see it too. Trust me. And like you said, he has the weapons now. He's got to continue to take steps. But I would rather see him take incremental steps and just go all the way up and then have a crash down. I want to see him build his confidence to a point where, it's just rock solid, that he just doesn't get to a point so early that he thinks he's invincible. And at the first sign of duress, it just kills him. I don't think that's in his DNA, but I'd like to see him just steadily just build it to where, and I think he's so competitive and he works so hard, he would never allow that to happen anyway. Love Matt Mallory. I love Bean. Did you buy a new webcam? Yes, I did. Several months back. The other one was terrible. And for those of you who hung in with me with those bad quality ones back in the day, I so appreciate it. Do you think Diggs could be a problem? No, I don't think he'd be a problem in the locker room. I think the guy wanted his targets. He wanted to win. He's an edgy guy. He's got a lot of competitive fire. Wide receivers are like that. They're fickle. They're a little funny. He's not a problem off the field. And I said this going back in the start of the offseason. The Bills are going to get to a point in their roster building cycle that they're going to have to add a guy or guys, highly talented, highly specific guys that you just frankly need to win in your league. You need them. The Chiefs put up with shit to keep a Tyreek Hill around because off the field he's not a good guy, but they know how much he helps them win on the field. Kareem Hunt gets a second chance because he's highly talented and he gives your team a chance to win. You're gonna need to take chances on those type of guys once in a while. If you feel like your culture is strong enough, your locker room is fortified enough to handle one guy, then that's good. And I don't think it's going to be that big of an issue. Uh, Dan Mitchell, let's collab soon, man. Sure, of course, man. Appreciate it. Trying to hit some of these comments. I'm kind of bad at this. Anybody know updated cap after the Bill signings? Around mid 40s. Last I checked, mid 40s. Matt Mallory Diggs ball tracking is insane. Will help Allen a ton. Yeah, I was talking about that, Matt. You just don't appreciate how good of a player is until you watch him and know he's going to play for your favorite team that next season, that he's now a member of your football team, the team you root for, the team we all root for, and you watch him, and it's like, wow, like, I didn't realize he was that good. Like, you see the Julio Jones, you see the upper echelon guys, and he's just kind of right there, right below those guys, but man, he is really, really effing good. Talent outweighs problems. You'll be employed. Yeah, as long as you're talented, you win. You need those kind of guys, man. You're going to need one or two of them. You can't have a locker room full of wild dogs, but you need some dogs. You need some alpha dogs. We have the right leaders in place. McDermott believes he can lead. Well, I think he can lead, no doubt. And they're jocks, man. They're jocks. They want to win. They're young. They're full of testosterone and piss and vinegar. And they want to go out there and compete against other alpha dogs. The guy's a 5th-round pick who had to fight scratch and claw for everything. And now he's one of the best receivers in the league. He has to have a chip on his shoulder. And his brother's in the draft. It's crazy. His brother went to Alabama and is a cornerback. So it may be, who knows? Maybe they end up drafting his brother. Right now, this is Dried Onion, is probably around the 16th best quarterback in the league. If Allen can improve to 12, 13, can make a deep ball push. Well, I'm hoping for he gets in the top 10, man. I'm hoping he gets in the top 10. I think he's right outside. I think he's right in that range, around 15 or so, give or take. But, you need seasoning. Everybody wants instant gratification. You're not going to get, not everybody's going to get that. I mean, from what I saw from Sam Darnold at the end of the year against the Bills squad, taxi squad, I was like, I'd be horrified if that guy was my quarterback going forward. I mean, he makes some really good throws, some wow throws. He's got talent, but it's just like he has epic brain farts. And if Allen would have had the brain farts that Sam Darnold had last year at certain spots in games, like in Miami, throwing that interception just up for grabs near the goal line, the seeing ghosts game, just some of the other things that he did, the Bengals game where he was just terrible in Cincinnati against a winless, I think they were winless at the time. He would have been destroyed. Allen would have just been destroyed. He would have been emasculated by the media that just dislikes him so much or has a vendetta because pre-draft predictions and stuff. Travsdale, yeah, I think we have enough McDermott guys in the locker room to stabilize the rest of the. And I said that last night about Lorenzo Alexander. He put out a tweet about Mario Addison, said the guy's a leader, he's got character, highly productive player, guy that came off a practice squad to make his way in the league. So the guy has to be a worker, and he's going to come in there and put it in. And, no bullshit kind of guy. Dried Onion. It's ocean, by the way, not onion. Sorry, bro. I'm a little dyslexic, so I see words sometimes a little fucked up. Legitimately dyslexic. Matt Mallory, Brady being gone feels so good. It doesn't even seem real, man. Brady being gone doesn't seem real. Eric Marino, Edelman lost his boyfriend. Yeah, that is going to be weird, man, because he was such a specific target for Brady. I mean, what does his career turn into now? Like, what does Edelman look like catching passes from who? Like who? Like who's the guy that's going to be throwing him the ball? Like, I don't know. It's weird because I just don't. I don't know. You know, so I'm just looking. I'm just looking at just scrolling down Twitter. Some numbers coming around about some of the extensions. Poyer was 3 years, $22 million, 13 guaranteed, $3 million signing bonus. Um, Fully guaranteed the fifth year of 2021. Um, so yeah, it looks like a very well spaced out deal. Um, doesn't look like it's heavily backloaded. Looks more front loaded. Get him some money up front, make him happy. Um, so it doesn't look like a big crazy deal. So we'll see how that plays out. But he's been a good player. He's played near at a Pro Bowl level, around there. Hasn't made it, but he's been near it. Um, Travis Dale, yeah, Allen is better than USC quarterbacks. Generally overrated. Um, we'll find out how good Edelman is now. Dried Ocean. I've never seen a Pats game without Brady at quarterback. Yeah, you didn't see the Brissett game, or you don't remember the two Matt Castle games in '08? I remember those. They won the Brissett game, lost the two Castle games, unfortunately, but I remember them. Yeah, I can remember games with Bledsoe. I can remember games with so many other Patriot quarterbacks that were terrible. Tommy Hodson, Hugh Millen, Scott Zolak, just Doug Flutie, man, going back that they were a bad team playing at, like, it was at Sullivan Stadium. It was just a terrible, like, open end stadium. It was just so old. Oh, Vols Magic, feel good. That's how you should feel, Dried Ocean. All these Pats fans will suddenly disappear. Oh yeah, that fan base is going to dissolve. Dried Ocean is going to be like a dried ocean. You'll see, like, that ocean, the Dead Sea. That's going to be Pats Nation, dead. Yeah, yeah, Damager. That's kind of the bittersweet thing. Too bad we don't have a chance to beat the shit out of them. Yeah, I wish that they could have had a chance. What's up, Muhammad Ali? Bills, Bills, Bills. Yeah, that those don't count. Yeah, nah, not yet, Damager. Cam is out in Carolina. Yeah, I don't know. Did he go somewhere? Bledsoe was a good quarterback, Matt, but not great, not Brady. But I don't know if he's on the way somewhere. I just know they put him out for a trade. I don't know if he's going somewhere yet. Um, what about the Raiders today? Those are some weird fucking moves. I tweeted, like, John Gruden, man, he loves antiques. Like, he just loves his antiques. Like, whether it's Jason Witten, um, some of the other, I'm just like, why does he like these old players that just aren't productive? Joe Smith, I hope we play the Chiefs opening day in Buffalo. I'm fired up. I hope we play, I hope it's a good matchup. It's generally probably going to be a division matchup. I get the sense it's probably going to be against the Dolphins this year at home early. So we'll see how it goes, especially if they draft to a younger quarterback. All the moves that they made, Fitz, Changeli, coming back to Buffalo. Josh in his third year, Stefon Diggs, playoff team. So I could see that being the opening day game. Yeah, they'll probably be like 3 or 4. I would say Vols, more TV games, probably like 3 or 4. And a guy like Diggs helps that along. Dried Ocean, we better have at least 2. I say 4. Damager Dave, Raiders, they sign more. They sign a more athletic, more gutless version of Carr. Yeah, that's kind of a good way to put it, Dave. You did it. That's actually a really good way to describe Marcus Mariota. Doesn't take chances down the field. He runs around better, but he's a really nice guy, like Carr. But outside of that, he's not much. There's not much sizzle on that steak. It's he's just that. I stay looking because I don't know if anything could have went down in this last few minutes, because it seemed like the Bills did a whole bunch of moves last week. And one other thing I wanted to ask you guys, now that they draft 54th, there's no first round pick. That Stefon Diggs is our first round pick. Forget about the 5th, forget about the 6th, right? Forget about those. Where do you want to see them go 2 and 3? Where do you want to see them go 2 and 3? I have my pick where I want to see them go 2-3, but I want to know what you want to see them do at 2 and 3. So you can just fire away in the comments. I'll read some comments while you guys do that. Yes, Damager, I'm going to do a mock draft, but I have to do a first round, then I have to do it all the way down to 54 now. So I just may as well do a 2-round, but I have to do it right. I can't fuck around and try to just pick I can't manipulate it to get players that I want the Bills to have. I have to try to do it like if I'm the GM of those team that I pick for every time, and think about free agency and think about it takes a long time to do a mock draft decently. I could just throw names at a wall. I try not to do that. Running back in the mid rounds, target Lamichael P. Ryan, poor man's Emmitt Smith, comfortable inside runner. I like Cam Atkins. I do like P. Ryan. I like Edwards-Helaire. I mean, you can get a guy in the 5th round that could be solid for you here. Joe Smith, I want Claypool and Swift. I mean, I can't knock you there because Claypool's one of the guys I want. Definitely Los wide receiver O-line. I want that. 100%. Vols Magic, yeah, we traded 22 Bodine and Teller for Diggs. I'll take it. We need playmakers insurance for Diggs and Singletary. Dried Ocean, maybe an edge in round 2. O-line 3, 4. Me, I would take. They have 7 picks right now. 7 picks. I would Claypool, trade up if you need to with 4 and 3 and get Kyle Duggar. He's your big nickel. He's your big nickel punt returner. He's a hybrid safety if you need it. You can keep your base defense on the field at all times. Your nickel would essentially be Duggar, Poyer, Hyde, White, and a combination of Wallace, Norman, Milano, Edmonds, and then whatever combination you want to throw in the front, because I think you can do a lot of combinations up front now. You don't have to just stand on ceremony with one. Oliver, Hughes, Addison, Jefferson, Butler. You can really Harrison Phillips. You can really mix and match those guys however you want. Joe Smith, Tango, the tackle in the 3rd, running back in the 5th. I honestly, Vols Magic, I honestly think we strictly go BPA. Yeah, I mean, that's probably what they will do in the realistic world. I'm doing it more so like what we want world, as opposed to like what they'll really do. So this is about what we want right now. And they'll just really do what they'll do. And then we'll just try to, piece it together and rationalize it when that happens. We can actually afford to do that without any glaring holes. That's true. Duggar can play teams, return kicks, nickel, outside linebacker, occasional, speed rush. He's like taking 3 and 1. Yeah. I mean, like I said last night, I know they love him. I know that they'd like to have him. I know they like to add him, and he would be a huge piece in their defense. And he's a physical fuck. He flies around. He makes tons of plays, and he fits their culture to a T. Dried Ocean, do you think Duke Williams makes the roster? Use him in the run block. Well, 55 guys make the roster now, but one of the guys has to be an offensive lineman. So you carry 8 offensive linemen on the game day, and whatever that flex position you want. No, well, 48, I'm sorry, as long as it's an extra O lineman, then the extra position could be, whatever. I think that's going to be game specific. Maybe 1 week we'll see an extra corner. Maybe 1 week we'll see an extra wide receiver. 1 week it'll be a defensive lineman, and that's the way they'll play it. I don't think it'll ever be consistent, especially with this group, because they kind of went week by week with the inactives. I mean, there was some consistent inactives like Ike Bucker and Yeldon when Singletary was healthy, and but we never really saw, now they're a little bit more deep. We'll see them mix and match a lot more. And, they do bring back Foster. Let's see what he has in year 3. Let's see what he has in camp. Let's see what he has in preseason. They did bring back Jason Kroom. I felt like he made plays. Allen went to him a fair amount. He's like a big wide receiver, so let's see what he has. Maybe he flames out. Maybe he rises up. We'll see. People get on him for the fumble in New England. I've said it many times, but maybe he's got something. We'll see. It's always best to see what you have in the house before you go shopping. But they're going to add players in the draft, undrafted free agency. I love undrafted free agency. I always say if you can get 1 or 2 guys from undrafted free agency to make your team, that is like worth its weight in white gold. That is phenomenal. They're affordable. You keep them around for a long time at a really good cost. Look at Wallace. Look at Foster. Those guys, undrafted free agents, you just keep around 3-4 years at this bargain basement discount. I saw they were working out. Okay, there's a wide receiver I did see 100% that they had worked out, talked to, was a Georgia wide receiver, Cager. Big guy, 6'5", 220. So I think the receiver that they're going to add, just from saying sake, is a size guy. I think they're kind of out on the smaller guys. So when they come to the draft, I think they're gonna add a big wide receiver. That's why I'm on Claypool like stink on shit. Anybody know what the special teams guy, 2 and 9? That's a good deal, Joe. Tyler, I have to learn how to say his last name. I want to say Metkevich. I think that's how you say it. Rodney Smith, late round running back who fits Dable's offense. Again, go find your guy. Go find. Hopefully, he can, do something. He's a sneaky late guy. Had an up and down career at UGA. Yeah, it's crazy. They have these wide receivers that they just make better pros than Alabama. That's all I know. Generally, Georgia players make better pros than Alabama players, and Ohio State is it's the factory of football. There's other places, but I keep checking Twitter to see if the Bills did anything yet, but I'm sure you guys would update me if they did. But I mean, I haven't even started talking. Like, Brady leaving the division is insane. That is insane. Around 2012, 2013, I started to think like, God, he's going to start, getting up there. He had the ACL. They look like, Aaron Hernandez did what he did. Gronk was hurt. I'm like, their window has to close sometime soon. And here we are in March of 2020, and it's finally happened. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this guy took up half of our football lives. Yeah, Joe, you're correct, man. He beats the shit out of his players in practice, and he grinds them to the ground. That's why I would always shy away from an Alabama player. I really would. They scare the hell out of me. Maybe they're good, but I don't know. Josh retweeted the Bills lost Shaq Lawson and Jordan Phillips, but I really like the pieces they added on the defensive line. Mario Addison, Quentin Jefferson, and Vernon Butler will make a nice mix with Oliver, Hughes, Murphy, Starr, and Harrison Phillips. Yeah, they got some depth now. They can really start to mix and match and play, keep guys fresh. You got Harrison coming off of an ACL. You want to keep bigger bodies off of Oliver. You want him to play free, play clean. Jerry had a couple of surgeries. I think he had one on the groin, one on the wrist. So you want to kind of make sure he's good to go. Starr does a lot of dirty work. You want him to get, that good 30, 25 to 30 rundowns a game. The other guys just come in on pass downs and just try to pitbull the quarterback. Um, Snarl says Brady needs to wear the throwback, that gay pirate winking on the helmet. Oh, I think it's Billy Buckaroo or Buckaroo something. That's the name of that logo, the creamsicle. I actually like that uniform. It's actually a classic. It's a shame they went away from it. Really want to see Daryl Johnston break out. I'm excited about him. Yeah, I would really. I mean, he's got a lot of talent, man, and maybe he's a guy that can just break through, and just step up and become a player. Now he's got a chance because he's going to get a chance to be in that rotation 100%. How do you feel we look linebacker wise? Also, I think we need to add another corner. Yes, Lentz 100% a corner. Buckaroo Bruce, that might be him. They do have Voshawn Joseph. They drafted him last year, couldn't play because of injury. They still have Matt. They still have Edmonds. They added Minkiewicz. They added Klein. Terrell Dotson, who they hung on to. So they have guys. So I think the linebacking core is kind of there right now, to be honest with you, unless somebody just jumps out, which is rare, and just blows them away. And they got to try to add them, but these guys are on their roster right now. I think the next place they go on defense is a corner. I was trying to find the tweet. I tweeted it last week sometime that I felt like free agency was going to be defensive heavy, that you would see a defensive heavy free agency, and then you would see them in the draft go offense, a lot of offense, heavy receiver, heavy O-line, maybe a running back. I think they could go any number of places. Like one of the comments said, best player available. That's probably what they're going to do, regardless of the position. That's what they're going to do. Whoever the best guy is there at 54, that's who they're taking. Scott from Michigan State, Joseph Smith says, he's a solid corner, fast. I think they need to add some size, some physicality at corner. The kid from Central Florida, Neville Clark, they met with him. He's probably more of a 4th or 5th round pick. The Lamar Jackson corner from Nebraska, he's a big physical corner. I don't know how his hip mobility is. Can he flip and turn and run? He just looks like a big guy with a long reach. So, I just know, again, McDermott can find corners. He can find defensive backs. So we shouldn't worry. I think that's something that guy has a really good eye for, and we should always trust him with the defensive backs. What are the Pats going to do with Cam? What are they going to do? I do not see. Have you seen Cam Newton? Have you seen the tweets? Have you seen the draft? I do not think Bill Belichick would sign up for that, man. I really don't. He's got to go prove he's healthy somewhere. I just do not see Bill Belichick dealing with that type of stuff. Those press conferences and I just don't see it. Joe Smith, do you think we'll use Edmonds more blitzing? I was thinking that. I was thinking that you use him. Maybe you draft Duggar. He's one of the nickel backers, a big nickel with Milano. Maybe you start, having Edmonds come off the edge, come up the middle. Maybe he's buzzing. He steps up and backs out. It was called sugars. They kind of sit in a gap and then they just break back out and kind of fool a quarterback to throw in a ball in a zone that they thought was avoided. Dried Ocean, how are the Bills looking with cap space next year? All these signings, sign Milano Dawkins next year, need to extend Trey. Well, they have you Trey for another year, and then you just, put the fifth round, pick up the option, and then you can work out the deal. So that's another 2 years down the road. You don't need to do that now. Vols Magic, if a couple of these top wide receivers drop, I can see us trading down again. Get more picks. Anything is possible. So I'm not going to put nothing past them. Trading up, trading back with Bean. We can't rule anything out. Like his pattern is if he sees a guy he wants to get and he's aggressive like he is and is calculated, he generally does it. Bills getting a Seattle D end. Not Clowney. The Jefferson's a defensive tackle, so damage or Cam's hairs alone is the reason I wouldn't sign him. Yeah, it's pretty bad, man. He's kind of gotten a little pretty damn eccentric. Some of the styles of dress that he does, the pregame and or post game more so. I just think it's a lot of look at me stuff. You know, it's kind of crazy. I just think that, you know, it's a little much. It's a little much. I'm just kind of reading. Jason Cole, I like Bruce Arians and I like Tom Brady, but I'm not sure them together as much as Arians likes to throw deep. I just like reading some tweets sometime to see what guys are saying about things. I mean, I don't know what you guys feel about Brady leaving and the spin that people put on it. I'm just going to throw my 2 cents on it. And everybody now, it's like everybody's picking a side, whether it was Brady, was it Bill, was it Brady, was it Bill? And everybody wants to blame somebody. Me, I don't give a shit. They're out of our hair. They're out of our life. They're out of our football world. What's up, Nick? How you doing, bro? Good riddance, Tom. Exactly. And for me, you've been to 9 Super Bowls, 8 Super Bowls? Well, 9 Super Bowls. You won 6. Just all the records. Consensus greatest quarterback of all time. Yada, yada, yada. The list goes on. At our expense, mostly. We know the laundry list. Belichick, same thing. Greatest coach, all the wins, all the shit, despite all the cheating and all the bullshit. I never knew that Brady needed his ego stroked so much. Like, really? Like, you're this acclaimed and you're that fucking needy? Like, you need sponge bath at this point in the game after all you've done? You need to feel wanted? The reality is you're 43, dude. You're 43. You're, still a good quarterback, but he's not even near the player he used to be. Near. They tried to put weapons around him last year. The one kid was a head case. The other couldn't keep himself clean. Sanu was hurt. The greatest tight end retired. That's going to leave a void no matter who you try to add. And it's like, well, they wanted to blame everybody. Everybody wanted to blame. Well, they didn't put weapons around him. Well, wasn't the narrative for so long Tom could play with anybody? Tom can make anybody good. Just give him a bunch of 5'10" white guys and away you go. You can win. Wasn't that the spin that they would sell so much? Is Brady wins with everybody. He just makes guys better. Now all of a sudden he needs a Pro Bowl armory to. No, he's not the same player. Generally, younger quarterbacks or quarterbacks in decline need all that. He's not that guy again. He's never going to be. It's going to get worse. His ass isn't going to age like wine. It's going to age like vinegar. I just was like, I always thought he was disingenuous and a bit of a fraud and a phony. He's really a dick. Nothing worse than a fake nice guy. And I was just like, wow, this guy is really that needs that much love. He needs hugs. What an insecure bitch. He can win with an average quarterback. He did that. Well, he did. I'm going to read some of the comments. Sorry, I've kind of let him go. Cam's hair alone. Oh, I got that one, Damager. It was funny. If Buffalo goes to the Super Bowl, are you going to go to Duff's in downtown? I'm going to run up there. That's how I'm going to run up there. I would literally fucking walk. NFC South is the anti-quarterback division. Yeah, it's a lot of old quarterback. What are you doing for the next few weeks to stay in shape? As I'm assuming your gym is closed. Yeah, it's closed. I have a home gym that I have here. I have all my weights and bands and everything, and I'm probably just going to run outside. I've got roof access here. I can go jump rope here. I got a hardwood floor here. I could jump rope. I have some pretty cool gadgets in my arsenal in terms of the spiders that I could use. It's a pretty cool thing. I can put my feet on, do rolls for abs, do, arms, all different types of stuff. I have 2 of them. And the handle you can remove. So I'm going to do all that kind of crazy shit to try to keep myself occupied weight-wise and just exercise. I'll just go nuts sitting around. He's going to go to Tampa Bay for strip clubs. Those strip clubs are nasty down there, guys. You don't want to. They're terrible. Tampa Bay really is not a great place. The nicer places are outside of Tampa Bay, near Clearwater. Some of the John's Pass around. There's some like gated communities there. A lot of the wrestlers live down there, which is kind of crazy. A lot of them do. Chris Jericho lives down there. I know Jeter has a huge home down there. Some other old retired baseball players, Wade Boggs. So there's a big like athlete community down there. So I mean, he's got access to Miami. He can, fly up to New York. So he's pretty much, I guess he's in a spot where he wants to be. So, it is what it is. It's Montana leaving the 49ers. It's, Marino never left the Dolphins. He retired after getting beaten 60 something to 10 or whatever against the Jaguars. Elway walked off a Super Bowl champion. Manning, the same thing. Rarely ends like that. Rarely does. Is it a 53-man roster? Yes, definitely it is, which is good. Damager says you should do a live rewatch of some old Bills games. All BS about it. Yeah, I'm. Hopefully, you know what? I have to find him on here to do that, and we could just set the time up and watch them in sequence. So that way they're all synced up, and instead of like doing it like kind of loosey goosey. I've had my fill of celebrities talking about this. I just can't. I'm sorry. Sorry, I got sidetracked, guys. Snarl. It's the massage parlors, not the strip clubs. Yeah, they're all bad. Well, actually, Jupiter, Florida, is on the other side of the state. Jupiter it's in between like Cocoa, Daytona, Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood, and there's a lot. Like Bill Parcells has a house over there. Bill Belichick has a house over there. There's a lot of people. I mean, I'm sure they have homes everywhere, but there's a lot of people that like live down there. I know Jimmy Johnson has a house in Key West. So, where he's constantly fishing and shit like that. So he's always got that fucking tan. So, yeah. All right, balls. Have a good one, man. Love you. Take care. Stay safe. Be good. Fuck the Pats. That's what's up. Joe Smith, Florida is cool, but a lot of drifters there. It's kind of weird party. Yeah, I lived there for 10 years, man, when I was a kid, and it's kind of grimy, to be honest with you. Maybe it was just the place I lived, but to me, it's just a grimy state. Like, it's grimy. A lot of fucking weirdos down there. A lot of big meth scene down there. Not my type of place. I mean, no thank you. Really, no thank you. I'm not saying Dirty Jersey City's the best, but I prefer it over Florida. Maybe I'm just weird. But outside of Diggs, what's your favorite signing? What's the signing that you look at? It's like, oh, I like that. I think that's solid. That's good. That's going to help us. For me, it's Addison. Granted, he's the oldest one they signed, but he's a guy they're familiar with. He's a guy McDermott's worked with, Washington's worked with. Bean was part of acquiring him off Washington's practice squad back in 2012. Damager, Florida's a dump. You said it, not me, but it's true. But the production speaks for itself. 38, was it 38 and a half sacks? Let me see how many strip sacks he has. Now, he's got 2 forced fumbles, hasn't recovered any, but he had an 11 sack season. Yeah, 20. So yeah, he's 21 sacks, 39 sacks in the last 4 years. He would have led the Bills in sacks. Yeah, he would have led the Bills in sacks in all of those years. So, I mean, that's who they're picking up. I mean, he's played in all the games except one last year. He played in 16, 15. Pretty much been a rotational guy, a little bit of an older rookie. But for me, I think you see him and I say that, he's the type of guy that gets me a little excited. Joe Smith, I love the physicality of the signings. Those Norman additions, Klein, Butler, bring an edge to the team. Like Baltimore, yeah, like Jefferson, you've seen him, fucking getting pissed. Like, they need some edge, guys. They need some nasty. Diggs brings that on offense. They need some edge. Luke, trust me. Luke Patterson says, can we please sign a real punter? I hope they get one in undrafted free agency, bring a guy in. But, again, I can't deal. I can't deal with Borquez's brain fart punch. I can't do it. I can't do it again this year where I literally hold my breath every time the guy catches, goes back to punt. Like, I just do. Thoughts on AJ Klein? Solid, just a solid ad. 25, 30 snap a game guy on base defense. Maybe 20. Whatever the down is, the situation is, special teams, all 4 units, their type of guy. He's got some numbers. He's actually not a stiff in terms of like his numbers. Like he gets, he'll get a sack, he'll get an interception, here and there, a couple of sacks in the last 3 years, 2 sacks, interception, returned it for a touchdown last year. A few pass breakups. Again, not a lot of sex appeal. 70 tackles, 69 tackles, 55 tackles, flexible, plays middle, plays strong. So Nick says likes the Jefferson signing the most. I could see that. They replace his production, Phillips' production, with the Jefferson, with the Butler. You get Harrison back. You feel like Ed Oliver's going to take another step. So a lot of the pressure, a lot of the push, the pass rush, going to come up the middle, loops and stunts, all kinds of crazy overloads like they like to do. So you're not going to see, they know they're not going to get a chance to get that 10, 12, 15 plus sack guy. That guy doesn't exist right now for them. So you can't make him up unless Darryl Johnson comes out of nowhere or Hughes, gets one. Those, they're not there. And you don't want to go pay money for, some crazy guy like a Clowney or something like that. So they want to like volume sacks, get 5 from this guy, 6 from that guy, 10, maybe 9.5, 10 from this guy, and just kind of like boom, boom, boom. Then all of a sudden you put it all together at the end of the year. Maybe there's 50 sacks, which is a good amount. Most snarl, a girl punter with nice legs. I think that'll happen one day, to be honest with you. I really do. I really think that'll happen one day. I'm not even joking. Nick Hurton, not a huge fan of continued poaching of ex-Panthers, man, on Addison and Butler. Well, I get that. I get the stigma. I get like, but they like their guys. They brought them there. Maybe they feel like they can add on to them here. They're not long-term deals. They're not deals that are like, oh my God, they're 2-year deals at most. And some deals, they are 2-year deals that you can just get out from after 1 year. So it's not long-term. It's just, depth for a couple of years, and we'll see. Joe Smith, most teams, this team's speed depth reminds me of 91. Oh, yeah. That was, I think they lost that year. They lost to somebody in the playoffs that year. I can't forget who. Hussein, just getting home, man. What's up? How you doing, bro? How you hanging over there in New York? Big moves are. Oh man, they got depth. They got better on special teams. They definitely got better on offense. Like they can go play right now. They can go field a good competitive 46, 48 man, whatever it is right now. They could do that if needed. But, shit, they got a whole draft to go. Sans a first-round pick. I know it sucks. I hate it. But they got a hell of a player that's going to come in and contribute like that. And that's always amazing to know you're going to get that. That's the kind of player you're getting. There's not going to be no waiting, no wondering, no debating. You have Stefon Diggs. He's yours. He's on the outside. You put him in the slot. You can move him around left, right. He's yours. You got John Brown as your Z. You have Beasley in the slot, and it's fire away. And you haven't added anybody yet. So let's just wait. Let's find out. There's a lot more to go, man. We're only in the second day of the league year. Granted, there's so much shit going on. It's hard to enjoy it, but you do enjoy it. You sort of feel guilty, kind of don't feel guilty for enjoying it. We get selfish and we're like, fuck it, I want to enjoy it. We deserve it. Come on. Like, it's always something. But this too shall pass, as the saying goes. Yeah, it seems like the Bills are a really nice attack. A 2-year window with Josh Allen on his rookie deal. Well, you hope you can go past that, man. It's always you always it's not a death sentence to go past it. It's like it's the rookie window, yeah, but hopefully you get them to that point and you make smart moves. It's all about your GM making smart moves, short term, long term. Now, if you try to build it too fast and go all in too quick, like the Rams, then you have to tear it down in a year or two because you have no flexibility, you have no money, you have no draft capital. The players that you invested in are either suspect now or they're broken down. So you don't want to do that either. You want to be prudent about it, slow build it, and then hopefully it blows up and has a lot more of a shelf life than just something that you throw in the microwave. Hussein, we know the defense will minimum top 10 this year if Allen and Dable get on the same page. Dude, for me, this defense constructed should be a top 5 defense. No questions asked. Should be a top 5 defense. You're going to get your third year with Edmonds. He's going to be a better player. Oliver's going to be in his second year. Hopefully Hughes is coming back healthy. Trey's an all-pro. 2, really good safeties. This team has to maintain that status to me. Has to. That's the benchmark. You have to be a top 5 defense. Anyone who didn't throw away their Watkins jersey can just turn it into a Diggs jersey. Pretty much. I always say, keep the extra jersey, keep the old jerseys, just change the nameplate. Change the nameplate. That's all. Get an extra nameplate. See if there's a seamstress in your around where you are, and she can change the nameplate for you. That's all. Take off Watkins and put Diggs. Probably cost you like $20-$30, but it's better than buying a whole new jersey because that's all you have to do essentially. Is you find a seamstress, she can properly remove the name, the stitching from the back, and then she can embroider the proper name and with the colors in the nameplate section. That's all. Snarl, I've been thinking about starting a backyard football league 7-on-7, no pads, working guys, live stream, homemade jerseys. Oh shit. That would be something. I don't know, bro. Just had an idea today. I'm in the southern tier. Play with helmets. Oh man. I ditched the Whitner jersey as fast as possible. Yeah, I get it. Was he 20? He was 20, right? You could have turned it into a not Porter's 21. You could have turned it into a Gore jersey. Yeah, it's tough. Definitely shouldn't have turned the Fred into a Vontae Davis jersey, but if he's a really good player, you keep the name. Like if you have Fred Jackson, you keep Fred Jackson. If you had a 13, there hasn't really been a 13 or a decent one, you keep Stevie Johnson. But you don't, there's certain players you just rather forget. Like you take Marcel Darius, you put Harrison, you put Phillips in the back of that one quick. Joe Smith, dude, remember how talented the mid-charters were? Brady, yeah, he did that. Yep, I remember Damian was furious. Damian was furious on the after that game. He was just going nuts. Like that's the maddest I ever seen him. He was a nice guy. Me and him have the same birthday actually. So I have cancers can get a little fucking nuts. Was saying I think we can even play QB. I think I can even play QB with the offensive weapons we have now. I wouldn't go that far, dude. I wouldn't go that far. I'm nobody's quarterback. So I know what I'm not, definitely. Christopher Lenz, yeah, I kept my Stevie now. I'm rocking the autographed Andre Reed. Yeah, like you have Andre Reed, that's your boy. You keep 83. You never change that shit. But you get like a 99, that's a dud. I think it's some other guys. Like 95, you got Kyle Williams. That stays Kyle Williams. 78, that stays 78. So there's very few jerseys, but there's some that, the numbers, maybe you like the player personally or whatever, you would never change it. But there's some guys, that just had a bad run with the Bills or their numbers weren't popular. Like remember, I remember Mike Williams. Like everybody was named Mike Williams, and he just caveman Mike. Who else wore 97? Nobody. So there was no point in even bothering with that jersey. You're gonna get a Bills tattoo on the other side of the delt. I don't know, man. I think I'm pretty much done with ink in my life. Only redos on a certain few. Snarl Lily play in a people's backyard. Parents four chain gangs, drinking, smoking on the sidelines. That would be crazy. Chewbacca. What happens if our so-called culture and the Bills? Vernon Butler is crazy. Again, they need some edgy guys. They need some dogs. Jefferson. I mean, Seattle has tons of dogs on their team. Tons of dogs. You need some edge guys. You see like Baltimore, edgy guys, a little bit of a fire, a little bit of like. I'm not saying the Bills don't, but they need some alphas. Like Diggs is an alpha. He doesn't look, but he is. I got a Slayer tattoo, but I have some nice Bills tats. I see a guy. I follow him on my thing. He's pretty well known. He's got all the Bills. He's got Ralph. He's got Jim. He's got all of them. Goes to all the Bills games. Paints his face. Christopher Lentz, Mike Williams. Played for Tampa Bay. Came from Riverside in Buffalo, and he fell off the map fast. Yeah, he like came back to Buffalo, ran in with his old crowd, and that was it for him. Like he never did anything. Just caught that one long touchdown from EJ against Houston, and that was pretty much it for EJ as the starter. So, yeah, there's just certain guys that have played with the Bills. You almost forget that they played. Like Carlos Williams, wow, he looked like he was going to be special for the Bills. And then 29, right? Like nothing. Like just 1 year, and that was it. He smoked and ate his way out of the league. Now he's in Toronto. Argonauts. Damager, I had Marshawn Lynch. Turn that into Aaron Williams, and then turn that into Micah Hyde. I have 3 jerseys in one. Look, shit, that's the way you do it, man. I actually love Marshawn. Wasn't he 2 numbers with the Bills, or was he just 1? He was 23, then he went to 24. 20. I think he might have been 1. I think he might have been just 1. And honestly, like Aaron Williams, I was never the biggest fan of Aaron Williams. I know he had a little bit of a fan following. I was just not a fan of his. I always thought he was a little bit overrated. A little bit overrated. Good player, okay player, not like, oh my God, like he's not on Poyer or Hyde's level. That's for sure. CJ too. CJ, you could have turned him into, and you could have turned, you definitely could have turned Spiller into Poyer. No doubt about it. You could have flipped that jersey, no problem. A lot of players pre-Pagula were a victim of the circumstances. Very true, Joe Smith. Very true. When you have an absentee owner, it simply doesn't work. And yep, and you have a bunch of wild animals like Russ Brandon and whoever else, pretty much. Chewbacca, do you know how much cap is left? Last I looked, it's like mid-40s. And that was like a couple hours ago, so don't hold me to that. It was like around mid-40s. Yeah, CJ started with 28 and traded with Leotis to 21. Yeah, either of those jerseys. I don't buy jerseys for that specific reason. I just don't buy jerseys. The logo. I believe in the logo. I believe in the name, the watermark, and the logo. That's what I root for. I root for the players on the team, of course, but I ultimately root for the team as a whole. And that's it. But I get it. I get the jersey thing, you know. Unless it's an iconic player, for me, there's a lot of guys that are just kind of run of the mill, take them or leave them. But let's see. A few more comments. I'm going to dip off, guys. There's more than enough cap space to extend trade. Well, you don't have to do that this year. It's the 4th year, and then you can give them the option. And during that time, you could try to work out a deal. And so you have 2 years. You know, granted, you want to get it done, but you still have 2 years. So you still have time. You still have another off season to work with this. But this year, you gotta get Dawkins. You gotta get Milano done. Those guys are important. And then sign the rookies. That's $10 million. Rookie pool is around 10 million, 12 million. They don't have a first round pick, so that rookie pool is going to go down. For them, they're only going to need to for their rookie pool, it's only going to be like 7.5 or 8. That's it. Chewbacca only have one NFL jersey, 34. Walter Payton. See, that's a classic jersey to have. Probably Mitchell and Ness. Just a clean, classic, old school Bears jersey. I'm not a Bears fan, but if he's somebody you liked watching, that's a great jersey to have. Snarl, I'd get a Jim McMahon jersey if I ever got one. Jim McMahon was from right here in Jersey City. His family moved out to Sandy, Utah, because there's actually a lot of Mormons come around here. And he was Mormon, moved out to Utah, went to Brigham Young, BYU, but he was actually born here in Jersey City at a hospital. It used to be over here, but it's no longer a hospital. It's a luxury apartment building. Oh, it wasn't a collision. It was actually my cat moving this thing. He stepped on it and made it slide across the room, and it freaked him out and he ran. I have a Thurman Thomas jersey and a Cal. Those are good ones to have. Yeah, you didn't get any of the current Bills players. Maybe you get Allen. Like if Allen's there 10 years, you get Josh Allen. Damager, I found the Jim Kelly jersey out here. I remember when you told me that you got it on sale to 50 on a clearance. That's a good buy. I know Rick comes in the room sometimes. He's got a lot of jerseys. He's got a lot of jerseys from a long time. He's got Reeds. He's got all of them. But when I get that, you get those guys. You want to get like a jersey. I don't see a lot of Bills fans. I've seen a couple. Darryl Talley, like 56. That's, to me, him and Reed would be two jerseys because I liked them as players. I liked their style of play. I like what they stood for. They came from the middle rounds. Those are the kind of guys I like. Those style of players. He did once, Christopher. He did once, and I had to. You know what he did last time? He did it after the Browns, the loss to the Browns. He came in after the loss to the Browns. Under, I think it was Corey Killer, kicked him out, and that was it. He dislikes my videos here and there, but it's all right. Chewbacca, last question. Who do you think we need to get in the second round, offense or defense? They'll probably go BPA, either or. Me, Chase Claypool. Like I would jump on him in a second and not think twice about it. Kyle Duggar. Like if they traded the 4 and the 3 to move up to get Duggar, I would be fine with that. Then you have, your 5th, your 2, 6, and your 7th, and you can get your running back, another wide receiver, maybe another lineman, and then whatever you want in the 7th. So, no, never. He wrote me a long ass thing in Twitter. He came in Twitter and wrote me like a big ass long paragraph, like this fucking long. He wrote me something like that. I didn't read it. I just blocked it. Yeah, he's a beast, man. He's a different type of dude. He's just a type of guy that they've never had, and I would love for him to be a Bill. Like I would love it, because they've never had a receiver like him with his dimensions and his physicality. Just the idea of him is sexy to me, and I like that. So, all right, guys. Yeah, he's a pain in the ass. Like he's all over the place. Like he's a little shit. Like he's fucking around trying to get outside and do whatever he wants to do. But all right, guys, have a good one. Take care. Love you all. Stay safe. Hopefully this shit ends, soon. I know things are going to be opening up around back here. April was for Jersey City, Hudson County was April 1st. So that's a couple of weeks. But in the meantime, take care, peace, stay safe, stay fed, stay hydrated, and just, try to ride this bullshit out. Love you all. Go Bills, man. Thank you so much again. Appreciate all of you for coming in so much. Y'all worth it. Y'all worth it a lot.